So last but not least, we have our final keynote speaker, Martijn Bertisen. He's the Senior Industry Head of Retail at Google.
Good evening. Still awake? It's getting late, right? It's certainly past my bedtime. So thank you for hanging around, especially for those that were on their way back to Asia, as per the earlier comment. Why don't we start off with a quick story? October last year, I have the spaceship here. We're going to try and switch between the two. Those of you that have seen a Google presentation, it inevitably is going to go wrong at some point. But that's part of the charm, I guess. So, where were we? October last year, third Saturday, I think, in October. My dear friends Eddie and Sally were getting married up in a place called Burton. I don't think it's famous for much apart from Marmite, near Birmingham. And we're leaving London, northwest London, early on, up the M1, trying to get there in time for the service. As we're driving up the M1, we're starting to hit traffic, we're starting to run late. So we're running really fine on time. As we're nearing Milton Keynes, I'm sitting in the front seat, and all of a sudden I hear this petrified scream coming from the back seat. It's my girlfriend Emily in tears, stumbling, going, "I left my shoes." On the bed. The shoes that she's been trying to pick for the whole week. A beautiful pair of Jimmy shoes, gold, went perfect with her dress. In tears, we have to go back. Not an option right now. We're going to miss this wedding. We're never going to go back. So what did we do? I grabbed my mobile phone. I searched for Milton Keynes Shopping Center. Turns out, within about 5 miles, there was a lovely shopping center. I envy those of you that spend a lot of time there. It's called the Center. And my phone directed me there. First exit of the motorway. We went straight there. Thank you. And as we were driving over there, I started to research the center. So the center has loads of footwear stores. We found Kurt Geiger. Turned around and said, "Is Kurt Geiger going to do?" No, of course it wasn't going to do. But hey, it's the best that we had in the center. So we went to the mobile site. We went to the site of Kurt Geiger, and the pleasant surprise was they had a mobile site. I asked her to browse the selection. What does that actually mean for retailers? Well, if you think about it, effectively not being on these devices right now means that you're shutting your website down for 2 days a week. Your store down for 2 days a week. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, you just lock the door. And what I find petrifying is that about 50% of retailers right now in the UK are doing exactly that. You try and engage with them on a mobile device, and they don't have a mobile site. So that's pretty scary, right? So if we think about, if that is the reality of retailers, if I ask retailers in this room, how much of your media budget is currently going on mobile? How many developers do you have in your business that are currently working on mobile? How many people in your team can genuinely evangelize mobile? By the way, we touch this device 150 times a day, so that was one, I think, for you right there. But that's a phenomenal engagement with these devices. And what is exciting, I think, about the mobile device and the shift towards connected devices is just the way that it can connect the physical and the virtual world. So we heard the comment, I think it was the opening comment was, "Thank God we're all in e-commerce." Well, actually, forget about that. It's just commerce. The consumer doesn't care. I think it was said earlier on. We're all just simply in commerce. So it's time to wake up for retailers, not for you. It's time to wake up to this fundamental shift that we've just gone through. And what I thought we could do is just run through a few examples and a few instances where retailers have taken advantage of this. I don't think anybody's doing this particularly well all round, but there are some nuggets I think that we can learn from. So we heard about personalization. This is the most personal device that we own right now. 80% of you is going to bed with this device tonight. I know, it's pretty sad, right? We haven't exactly figured out what it does to birth rates, but it can't be good. So we're incredibly connected to the device. It's incredibly personal to us. And retailers can start using that to their advantage. And I love this example. This is an example from Neiman Marcus in the US and how they built a mobile app that actually allowed them to be highly personalized with their consumer. Can we get some sound from the top?
Friend on a new art showing, but I know I don't have the perfect outfit. Luckily, my sales associate told me about NM Service. NM Service is great because it allows me to have a one-on-one instant contact with my favorite sales associates. David Morin is my fashion angel. He will pull some recommendations of the hottest trends and newest items that have just hit the floor. Once I choose my favorites, David can look through my profile and add my likes to his own recommendations. Then, I set my arrival time and my closet will be waiting for me. Upon arriving at the store, I automatically receive a welcome message. I can check in, and my sales associate will be notified I am here. Because of this, David gives me the VIP experience. David always has everything laid out for me, which leaves me nothing more to do than try everything on. Once I have decided on my look, David can easily pull up the Associate app and based on my purchase history, can match additional accessories already in my closet back home. He can also use the Associate app to show me plenty more options available right in the store. After I have everything I need, I can go back to work and relax, knowing I have the perfect outfit for the show.
I think that's quite enough, right, of the American acting. The hug is my favorite moment. So that's one element. Personal device, incredibly connected to the individual, and we can bring a bit of a personal touch back to it. It was alluded to earlier on by Nick. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, you would walk into your local corner shop, they would know you by name probably, they know exactly what your family has been buying for generations, what you bought in the previous collection, what would go well with that, etc. We can bring a little bit of that back by being great at mobile. I'm going to switch to this device. The second thing that really excites me about mobile as well is the concept that a mobile device is not just connecting us to the internet. It's actually connecting us to all the computing power in the world. And that is a difference, right? Because if we think about this device here, it has the same computing power as Apollo 11 that got shot up to the moon. So that's quite scary. And if we think about those of you that got kids going to school, by the time they graduate school, this device is going to be up to 500-600 times smarter than it is right now in terms of computing power. So this evolution of data and Moore's law, etc., is just going to continue and is going to make these devices smarter. But what does that do for a retailer and actually a retail journey? So recently we were in the office, and our office is just off Tottenham Court Road in Soho, and one of my colleagues mentioned that he recently went to a Rolling Stones shop in Soho. My dad was going to be in town that weekend. He's a big fan. I thought, wow, I'm going to check it out. Maybe I can buy him a present, or maybe we should visit it. And as I'm in the office, you guys are all familiar with Google Maps. I use Google Maps. Those of you on iPhones, you can use it now as well. And I use voice search, so bear with me. My Dutch accent sometimes lets me down on this, but I search for the Rolling Stones store. So I got lucky, it recognized it. I can very quickly find the directions from here. I'm not going to walk that, I tried it earlier, that's 35 minutes. So I'll be here for a while. I'm going to take a taxi, 13-minute ride to the Rolling Stones store. It tells me exactly where to go. I can zoom into it, etc. What is really cool, though, is the next bit. Is when we get to the store, we can actually dig out a load of the information on the store. So we can find the opening hours, the telephone number, and we can see the surroundings of the store when we get there. So I'm somewhat lost in Soho. I'm not very good getting around the maze, but this gives me an immediate idea of where that store might be, and allows me to see the surroundings of the store. But what I love, and is even better, we can now go into the store as well. So this is Google Business Maps. I can actually I can put myself in the middle of this store and I can start browsing around and seeing what is actually going on in the physical store presence. I won't play around with it too much, but I can go even up the stairs to the second level. I can see the merchandise really up and close and personal and bring it to life. Don't try and go and find this, because physically this store is gone. This is actually a pop-up store that was only there for a limited amount of time to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the store. So it doesn't actually live in the physical anymore, but it's still viewable in the virtual. And that maybe leads me to the next point, and we already alluded to it. Digital over the last couple of years has allowed us to experiment with very new store formats. Right? We've seen pop-ups, we've seen stores in shipping containers in East London, we've seen little concept stores by very big department stores without any merchandise and just virtual terminals. So we've seen many, many different formats. But I think what mobile is all of a sudden empowering us is to move that store outside of the 4 physical walls, and the store can happen everywhere. So most of you are probably familiar with the Tesco's example of Home Plus in South Korea. Who's seen that? So some of you. Okay, so Tesco South Korea, number 2 in the market. They needed to do something to really catch up. They didn't have the same physical presence on the high street as their main competitor. They turned the underground stations in South Korea into shopping malls, into Tesco's racks where they were virtually displaying products with mobile phones. You could just buy your milk right there as you're waiting for the next tube to arrive. That was pretty cool. I love this example as well. Shoe shopping on the high street might be dead. We heard that earlier. But this is a really innovative way to actually bring it back to the consumer, maybe not in the 4 physical walls, but anywhere. Hold on. Let's play this video quickly.
To launch our technology, we went to the most frequented places, central stations. You start by selecting any model and size. To see the shoe like you're actually wearing it. Finally, we made shoe fitting social. So if you're not sure about a shoe, you can share a snapshot with your friends via Facebook. Once you've made a decision, QR codes with your model and size info lead you to the mobile checkout to get it delivered the next day. In the end, we created a new way to use outdoor media, and the fact that you can try on any shoe from the online store makes this the world's largest shoe store.
Choice and information, we heard it earlier on as a topic. Most of the people that will walk through the high street will be using this device. I think 42% of people will showroom. Everybody familiar with showrooming? Showrooming, comparing prices while you're in store. A large percentage of people that will stand in the store will change their mind as a result of all that information that they have access to and will go elsewhere. So loads of apps online that will help you shop. Something that brought it to life for me was, I might put it on the projector, it's easier for you guys to read, but it's this management in 10 words. I don't know why a book with management of 10 words is this big, but Terry Leahy was recently in our office, and he gave a great speech about this book. And he was nice enough to actually bring a couple of free copies, and he put them in the front, and they were gone before I could get my hands on it. But I did realize, wow, this would be a great gift actually for one of my friends. And so what I did afterwards, I asked one of my colleagues, can I borrow this book for a second? Just to try and find out, hold on, this is where it goes wrong. So I uploaded an app called Google Shopper. Some of you might be familiar with this. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can see it. And there's a barcode scanner that is integrated into this app. So as soon as I click the barcode scanner, the camera will get activated. The camera will recognize the barcode. It scans the book. It gives me a brief description of the actual product that I'm looking at. It will give me a bunch of online retailers where I can go and buy this book. Actually, pretty good prices, right? All around. But what it also does, it connects me back to the physical again. And it tells me that there's a Waterstones within 5 kilometers from here that is selling this book at £20. And the great thing is, well, I don't know if that's that great, but they have limited stock. But they have some. And within the click of a button, again, I can either call them, I can get directions there, I can navigate straight to the store. So that's making that finding the product and access to information incredibly fluid. And I can connect the virtual and the physical world. In this instance, I actually did go to a Waterstones. It was slightly closer to me than the 5.2 kilometers from here, and made me walk across the road to actually go and pick up this book so I could gift it that same evening. So the final piece I was going to share with you guys is this. The local intent that we're seeing on these devices is phenomenal. So when we look at all the retail queries that are coming through on mobile devices, about 40% of those queries that we see on google.co.uk are actually showing a high local intent. So that's people on the high street shopping, etc. That data that we're capturing now through a highly personalized device that is giving us access about the location of the user, about the time of usage, and all the other richness is allowing us to transform and completely rethink the way that we acquire customers. So no longer do we live in a world where we have to broadcast a generic message about price, about range, about our brand, to the world and to a wide audience. We can be incredibly targeted right now and incredibly smart and innovative. And this is one of my favorite examples. It's in Guatemala. It's a shoe retailer again. I have a slight shoe fetish today, I must admit. But it's a great example of how they use some of that smartness and that local proximity to target and acquire users actually into their store in this instance. So have a quick look.
Yeah, I'm at the Nike store. There he is. He's getting the message. There's a promotion for Beatback. I think so. Yeah, we got him.
Sick bubble Meatpack is the trendiest shoe store in Guatemala, a brand known for its edgy, cutting style and a store known for its unique discounts in limited edition kicks including brands like Adidas, Nike and Reebok. An icon for the sneakerhead subculture with over 60,000 fans on their fan page in less than a year. They needed to launch a new promotion that lived up to their hardcore fans, an innovative way to earn your discount. We created Hijack, an enhancement for the official Meatpack app used by our customers, using GPS tracking technology that marks every competitor's store of the brand sold at Meatpack. So every time one of our sneakerheads enters one of the stores, it triggers a special notice with a promotion. Hijack sends an alert to the person's mobile with a discount that starts at 99% and decreases by 1% every second that goes by, making the countdown stop until you reach our store. More than 600 customers were hijacked from the competitors in a week. One customer, Pedro Rodriguez, got a record-breaking 89% discount. This is the first promo campaign that started the sale in the competitors' stores.
So I fundamentally think, and we're going to wrap it up here, but I fundamentally think we're at a crossroads. We're entering the second phase of digital. It's all about mobile. It's all about this local connectivity across multiple devices. I think consumers are ahead of retailers right now. There are very few retailers in the UK that will hold up their hand and say we have a future-proof mobile strategy for our business. We're tracking behind in this area. Mobile is in its infancies when we think about when it started. It's an amazing opportunity to innovate. It's an amazing opportunity to win. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. And that's it for me. Thank you.